Hey folks, Liv here once again. I hope everyone had a good Thanksgiving. I know I did. Ate some good turkey, ate some good food. Got to have some fun with my family, so yeah, well, tiring myself out, but we had a fun time this year for Thanksgiving. But I hope everyone out there had a good Thanksgiving. I hope everyone's staying warm, but you all had a good and safe holidays. So, but anyway, guys, continuing my Batman marathon. I hope y'all did enjoy my review of Batman Mask of the Phantasm, which is on my channel. And now that since I've been on phase 3 of my Batman marathon, that is reviewing the Batman animated films, just Batman alone, standalone film. Once again, I'm clear for that one. It's just Batman animated films that are standalone Batman films. That's it. But anyway, today I'm reviewing this film that came out in 1998, and after Mask of the Phantasm, they went to directed. This was the first direct-to-video one. And I grew up watching this movie. I did have it on VHS when I was a kid, and I watched it a couple of times. So I do have a nostalgia one for this. Probably the first Batman animated movie I've ever actually seen. Yeah. This is also the second film in the DC animated universe. And I usually say the second Batman animated movie, but this is also based on Batman animated series and a standalone sequel to Mask of the Phantasm, and that is Batman and Mr. Freeze, Subzero. Yes. Sorry for the glare. I love this movie. I'm going to be honest, I love this movie. Not only part of my childhood, but it has a really good story to it as well. It's not always about Batman. That's fine with me. This film feels like, for me, I was always feeling it's more about Mr. Freeze, and that's fine with me, because not every Batman movie, I guess, has to be about him. Even though his name's in the front title and he's in the cover, it feels more about Mr. Freeze. But, you know, Batman's in here, though, and Robin is in this film. And, of course, you have Barbara Gordon, aka Batgirl. And like I said, this was after the third and final season. And, you know, this was also after, this movie takes place, like, right after the third season episode, Deep Freeze, because, you know, first you had Heart of Ice, and you know the story of Mr. Freeze if you've seen that episode in Deep Freeze, what happened there, you know, where he gets trapped in the Arctic, and this movie takes place after those events of Deep Freeze in Volume 3. So, anyway, we'll go ahead and get to talking about it. The film was completed in 1997 as a tie-in to Jewish Marcus Batman Robin, which also featured Mr. Freeze, aka Arnold Schwarzenegger, as the main villain, and Batgirl as one of the protagonists. Its release date, however, was pushed back to 1998 after the poor reception of Schumacher's film. According to Bruce Timm, Boyd Kirkland, and Randy Vogel, who wrote the film's story without informing him, so when he discovered that Arnold Freeze was to be brought to life in the film, he was forced to drop the idea of adapting the story White Christmas. Instead of introducing the new Batman Adventure Holiday Nights, as it had been required to have Nora dead as in the original issue, it was the final Batman direct-to-video film to use still animation. I guess CGI animation or something like that. I'm not an expert in that, but you do have some actors coming back to do the voice, and also the voice cast right now, I guess. You have, well, Batman and Robin, after that came out, even though I like that movie, I do like Arnold as Mr. Freeze. You didn't really need the cheesy punchline in those movies. I mean, I can have fun with it. For me, Batman and Robin is so bad, good, but this is definitely a better film than Batman and Robin, and a better Mr. Freeze. This is a Mr. Freeze we need live action. You know, Batman and Robin, I have fun, but, you know, in this film, Mr. Freeze is taken very seriously. Mr. Freeze himself is taken very seriously, so he's not doing no ice punch. So if you really hate Batman and Robin, which I'm sure a lot of people did, if you want to see Mr. Freeze better done, then just check out this movie. Yeah. But again, Kevin McCullough comes back as Bruce Wayne Batman. Michael Eisner, who voices Dr. Victor Freeze, Mr. Freeze returns. His voice role as Mr. Freeze from the Heart of Ice and Deep Freeze episodes. Lauren Lester voices Dick Grayson, Robin. Mary Kay Bergman voices Barbara Gordon, Batgirl. Isn't that the late Mary Kay Bergman? Oh yes, sadly it is. Yeah. Of course, you should know that she voiced Daphne in some of the Scooby-Doo franchise as well. She replaces Melissa Gilbert, and she did a good job, I think. Robert Krusnet as Detective Hardy Boy, Mark Divna as Summer Gleason, George Dundas as Dr. Greeley Belson, Bob Hastings as Commissioner James Gordon, Millie Henner as Veronica Freeland, Dean Jones as Dean Apris, Lena Schumer as Lieutenant Renee Montoya, James Smith as Detective Goldberg, Frank Welker as Haka, Hacha, and Chaka. I can't say the name right, but basically the polar bears here that Mr. Freeze has, his pets. Lauren Tom as Marco, and Elvis, I can't ever get his name right, but Infirm Simplest Jr. as Albert Pennyworth. Alright, go ahead and talk about the plot synopsis real quick for the movie. As of this time around, basically what the plot synopsis is with this movie is that Mr. Freeze, he's not living in the Antarctic, in the Arctic or whatever, until an accident happens. A submarine ship comes down, and his wife, as you see here, Nora Freeze, in her capture gets damaged, and she needs a blood transfusion, or she needs like a rare blood type, or an organ or something like that to make her better. So Mr. Freeze basically has this doctor he knows, kidnaps him, and together they kidnap Barbara Gordon to basically, because Barbara Gordon is like the only live donor to actually, save Mr. Freeze's wife, so that's why he kidnaps her. And along the way, Batman and Robin, of course, race to stop Mr. Freeze from what he's planning to come and, stop him. And that's the plot in a nutshell for you, plot synopsis for the movie. I'll talk more about the film. Okay. Oh, hold on, I forgot again. Dang it. The film was directed by Boyd Kirkland. It's written by him and Randy Sokol. It's based on Batman by Bill Finger and Bob Kane. It's edited by Al Branch, and music is by Michael Mozart. It was released March 17, 1998 on Home Video. It's 66 minutes long. It's a short movie though. Yeah. But like I said, with the film's opening though, we'll go ahead and get to the story itself. Mr. Freeze, you see that he's living in Antarctica. You see him like swimming with these polar bears. First they don't attack him, but you realize they're his friends. And you see these, and a boy named, so he kind of has like a family here, named Konak, and these two polar bears named Noshna and Chaka. The submarine, they have to do some testing up there, and while Mr. Freeze is staying at the Antarctica, he goes to his wife to her shelter or whatever, that she's in here. Says, my dear, you'd think I would forget our anniversary, and gives her a flower. I guess this is their wedding anniversary, and Kodak asks, how long is she going to be in there? And Freeze says, until we can find a cure for her. And then all of a sudden, the tanker, the submarine comes up, crushing the ice and damaging them, and almost kills Nora. It was their 15th anniversary when they first met, by the way. Not wedding anniversary. Nora's container that she's in gets shattered in eruption. And, Mr. Freeze seeing this after, his bears find him. You don't see him when he gets his free suit on. You have these scientists that gets looking out. These scientists come back. And they're like, what? They see this frozen. They're looking at the submarine, but it's not just a submarine. They see like maybe 20, 30 settlers, maybe 35. I don't know. It looks like 30 of them or something like that. A lot more probably. You see that Mr. Freeze has frozen all of them, killed them, and then they're like, oh my God, the whole crew. And Mr. Freeze, you just hear them saying, not quite. And they're like, and they see Mr. Freeze, and freezes them. Then you see 2 weeks later in Gotham City, these two bank robbers robbed these couple, the jewelry. This old man's like really tired of it, but he tries to attack the jewelry thief, but the jewelry thief gets one on him. They steal the car, thinking they got away with it, but Batman, lands on the car, there's a cool thing where he blocks it with his cape and they wreck. And they're like, what then? The guy kisses the cape and all, and Batman's like, and Batman just picks it up and he's scared, and Batman pushes him to the trash can. Other guy tries to run, but Robin shows up, uses back grapple gun or whatever, and shoots, she gets the guy's leg and pulls him up, over. He's like, don't hurt me, Robin. And Robin just pushes him over. He doesn't die or anything. They just said, Batman's like, we'll be watching you if you anymore, we'll be watching you. And they, go away, and they go to a building. Alfred calls them, telling them that they need to get ready for the party. So of course they go in there. Alter Egos is Bruce Wayne, and Dick Grayson to attend a friend's party. But you go there, Commissioner Gordon is, they see Commissioner Gordon at this party. I guess it's Veronica Freeland's party or something like that. But anyway, Veronica Freeland's party, she, likes Bruce, of course, or Bruce the Third a little bit. Dave wants to ask Bruce about his wives and women, but it's like, no, never mind. But I like it that when Gordon is talking about Barbara and we see her back roll, just for this one brief scene where she's like saving this girl from murders. And I like seeing her just kick their ass. That was pretty cool. And then, as Gordon's talking about, you get to go back and forth with seeing Barbara, back row kicking their butt, and then she's like, oh, wait for a party. I runs off, then you have this, and so, you see her. And I like Dick and Barbara as a couple. I think it really works. Now, Bruce Wayne. Yeah, Bruce Wayne, I still can't buy them as a couple. But her and Dick Grayson are perfect, I think, as a couple. It's a shame they didn't go on to be a couple as Batgirl and Robin. That would be cool. But they, at this point, don't know each other's identities at this point. But, you see them dancing and even joking with Commissioner Gordon. And then you have a guest named Dr. Kirby Belson, who is arguing with his stockbroker. He basically runs and Dick just kind of scoots him over. He's like, well, excuse you, Dick says. But Belson goes to his stockbroker, and he owes a lot of money to the bank, I guess, or whatever, these stockholders, whatever, and they're full of in his house, and that makes him mad. He's like, I'm gonna deal with you. I just need more time to get the money. And I guess you could say he kind of buried himself, But Gray just, Belson just says to go home, and on the way he sees the snow and Rex and the icy snow, and then he sees Mr. Freeze, and I guess you can say that him and Mr. Freeze, him and Victor were once old colleagues. Like Victor's like you, he's like, oh yes, it's hello Gregory, I need your help and you're going to help me. And Mr. Freeze just picks him up and takes him. Meanwhile, Dick and Barbara still talk, and he invites her to spend this weekend up at this lake or whatever, by the coast, and she accepts. Bruce and Alfred go on their way home. They, it's just full of water. Well, mainly because after freezing the water to get Belson, they turn into water after the ice melted. And, Bruce, they're like, and Alfred are like, oh my dear, how did this happen? It's not even that warm outside. And they look, and he sees, the corporate shirted Gregory Belson. Okay. Freeze takes, Belson, telling him that he needs him to save his wife, and he's telling Victor it's not good. She's going down, and Mr. Freeze is like, but it's not good enough. And he's like, I'm just telling you like it is, Victor. What she needs is a blood donor, for an organ transplant. And he's like, that would take weeks though. And like, Mr. Freeze says, you better get started. He's like, well, this isn't really worth anything to me. Telling her that the organ transplant just save her. Belson and Freeze, he's like, well, Victor, how am I going to help you? I mean, I'm having money trouble or whatever. And Mr. Freeze shows him this gold. He's like, here's this gold. Here you go. And he helps them. They look up all these donors, and him and Freeze find, Freeze and Dawson end up finding that it's Barbara Gordon. Mr. Freeze is going to, even take a... Mr. Freeze will do whatever it takes, even to kill an innocent person to get what he wants, to save Nora. Do anything to do that. But Freeze is like, here you go, here's another pot of gold. This gold he was like, if you help me with Nora's life, you keep all the gold. You become rich. And when they find that it's Barbara Gordon, when they search in the hospital's database, they find out Barbara Gordon is a perfect, organ donor. They call her college. This girl picks up and goes and pretends to be like a doctor, I think, something like that, saying it's an emergency. That where is she at? And her tells her, and Barbara's friend tells them that they're that her and her boyfriend are at this restaurant, and so Mr. whereabouts are at. So Freeze goes looking for her. It's this Charlotte's Club. Yeah, you see Dick and Barbara. I thought it was funny when Dick is out of these drinks and the guy pushes him over. He's like, "Oh, show the drinks." They're about to share a kiss. Then they see Freeze walk in, and Dick is like, "Mr. Freeze," and Mr. Freeze comes there with his polar bears, with his 2 polar bears. Saying, "Where's Barbara Gordon?" And nobody says anything. He's like, tells his polar bears to attack this guy, to almost kill him. He's like, "I'll ask again, where's Barbara Gordon?" He's like, "Stop, I'll go with you, I'm Barbara Gordon." And Barbara goes in, so Dick doesn't want to go, so Dick starts to fight Mr. Freeze. Just, jumps and does his kick on him. He tries to, do his kick on Mr. Freeze, but Mr. Freeze pushes him back, and the polar bear is even starting to help. Polar bear, attacks Dick Grayson, and Barbara's like, "I'll go with you, just don't help him." He's like, and then he tells his polar bear, "Come on, let's go." And to get him to go away, Freeze shoots this chandelier, freezes it at Dick so he can just get away, and Freeze goes into his truck to take off. He puts Barbara in a van along with his polar bears, and even the police are chasing Freeze, but Freeze is able to get away from the police. He's able to, directly go through traffic. Dick starts to, I thought was cool, he's got this motorcycle, and he does this cool jump, which I thought that was pretty cool. Cool to see Dick Grayson in action, and he's close to the truck, but to almost grabbing the door to save Barbara, but Freeze with his freeze gun just, shoots the road with his freeze gun, and, slips before, Dick can fall at his demise. That's when he's able to land on a tree limb. It just hurts his side, but lives. Barbara wakes up on Freeze's hideout. They try to give her drugs. Bells, so she fights with them. And, Freeze can almost kill her, but, but Belson's like, "No, don't kill her, Victor. We need her." So they leave her locked in this room. Gordon, Commissioner Gordon is mad and says, a guy in an ice suit and 2 bullet bears shouldn't be hard to respond. I want my daughter found now. And he's even thanking, Dick for doing what he did. Bruce and Dick, close this hospital door. They start searching, investigating why Mr. Freeze, kidnapped Barbara. And in investigating, they realize that Nora Freeze's blood is also compatible with Barbara's, the same blood type. And so, but they still have to investigate and find where she is and why Freeze is doing this. Barbara, meanwhile, tries to escape. She breaks the vigilance system. Freeze goes shoot through the symptoms a bit, but she's able to get away. She gets blocked. Gregory Belson tries to get her. And Barbara comes in the room where Nora's at. And she's like, "Oh, help her, but not here. We need a hospital." And Mr. Freeze is like, "No hospital." And she's like, he tells Barbara, "Look, we just need you to help save his wife. We're not going to hurt you, but we really want to save her." And Freeze is almost ready to freeze her, and Belson just tells Freeze, "No. Victor, no, don't do it, she runs to the pole bears, and Freeze and Belson chasing her at the same time, so she runs into this elevator, almost gets away, but she's on this oil tanker, so she can't go nowhere unless so Barbara's not a fish, she can't swim that far out. But she tries to run more, and Mr. Freeze freezes the ground, and she trips, freezing, with a gun at her. Well, also they keep Nora alive by keeping her in this machine. This area is also in the middle of the ocean. Bruce and Nick go to the golf course to ask a friend about some of this research or whatever, and they find out it's Belson, and Bruce remembers the name Belson that him and Albert's on the court tells Dick about it. They find out who his stockbroker is. They of course go into Batman and Robin to investigate. Going into Belson's apartment, find out who his stockbroker is. They try to interrogate his stockbroker. Tells him that he owes a lot of money, that he doesn't know where he's at. They get a call from him, and Robin takes the call, and they believe it was Falcon. So they take the tape, and the managers run Batman and Robin are gone, but they knew what they knew with the tape anyway. So they take it back to the Bat Cave, and they record it. Batman asks Alfred, I think, for some names, but they find out that Robin, of course, after that, she's at all in the middle of the ocean. There's just one there, because when stupid Belson, by the way, stupid thing for him to do, calling, because you can hear the ocean, you can hear the ship and a ship in the background blowing a horn. But they come up, get track on the location. Alfred, he gets Alfred to list the equipment that has been used in the cryogenic experiments, and he informs them that most of the elements are used to perform an organ transplant, which is a live donor, so during this operation she'll be alive, basically. And then Batman and Robin, which I think was really cool. The CGI animation in this movie looks fantastic. Especially, when they take off in the Batwing. Also, I forgot to mention, I love the opening credits of this movie. It's Danny Elfman's music, which is gives me chills down my spine. Sorry for the ice pun there, but it really does give me chills down my spine. But, Batman and Robin take off in the Batwing, which I thought was really cool shot for them to fly out. Very cool shot. I love the shot. The kid named Cornet gives Robert some food. She's like, "You're cute for a kid." He's like, "You're cute yourself, lady." He's like, "I'm 12, but I'll be 13 next year." And she's like, "Cornet, what are you doing here? Why are you here?" "Well, Mr. Fish takes care of me. I mean, he's a good guy, but I'm sorry, but I can't see that way. If somebody kidnapped me and forced me to be here, Cornet thinks Mr. Freeze. You should see Mr. Freeze's local father to Cornet because his parents died, so I guess Mr. Freeze, basically his family. So, but Freeze also promises that he won't hurt Barbara. Belson informs that they should operate immediately. Freeze and Barbara, Freeze and Belson grab Barbara. They try to buy a running room. Conrad sees what they're doing. He's like, "Mr. Freeze, she won't hurt her," so he helps out. and Barbara, like kicks Wilson and runs over there. Mr. Freeze, falls to his wife or to the machine. He's like, no, and fixes the machine back up. Well, Wilson grabs a gun and decides to go after Barbara, or probably just to kill her, you could say. He goes over to all those tanks. She's like running up, and Batman and Robin show up at the Batwing, and they fly over there. Wilson's shooting. The gun is over. She's like, "Stop shooting, you idiot! The little tank. They're gasoline. You're gonna make the fire." But of course, he does that stupidly. He's almost gets ready to shoot Barbara. Batman and Robin show up in the Batwing just in time. Barbara smiles. He tries to run. But Robin, comes tackles him to the ground and knocks out Wilson. Meanwhile, Mr. Freeze is fixing up his wife, and here's what's going on, so goes into the, but before he can, though, his polar bears go Batman and Robin fight with them. Polar bear tries to attack Robin, but Batman is able to grab a rope. One of the other polar bears behind him, that Robin has the little water hose and freezes the other bear. So these bears are chasing them. Batman and Robin trick them by having them, go to the edge where they fall to the water. They're like, Batman's like, 1, 2, 3, now, and they jump forward backward. And the bears, end up falling into the water. They don't die, of course, because polar bears, basically water is their home, a second home for them, so it's, they end up okay. Barbara's still trapped upstairs, and the fire is burning. The fire is going everywhere, so Robin tries to give his back grapple, but Mr. Freeze shows up saying, "You, Batman and Robin," and tries to freeze at them, and Batman and Robin running, traps them in a container or whatever, freezes them in there, and Barbara nearly falls and gets hurt. And Mr. Freeze, Wilson's like, "We need to get out of here." He's like, "No, you're not going anywhere until we finish separation." She's like, "You're crazy, Victor." "Okay, we'll do it." And this explosion happens, and Wilson pushes Freeze, and Freeze gets caught in this tanker or whatever. These rubble lands on him. These bricks land on him, and he just breaks his leg. And he's like, "Wilson, help me!" But Wilson just scrambles out of there. Doesn't care. Yeah, it's a booth of the crane. But they eventually get out because Batman's able to get a crane to crush it, the box for their own. Yeah, part of the structure does fall on him. But they help Freeze get all the rubble, and he can't get out. And he's like, "Well, we need to find more." And and Barbara mentions Kodak, the little boy, so Batman offside to help out. But there's a fire, so Mr. Freeze, says to help out. Of course, no choice there, but he wants to save his wife, so he, since the downstairs is fire, so Freeze uses the gun, freezes the fire a little more. Batman and Barbara go down there. Batman grabs, Mr. Freeze's wife, and Barbara grabs Kodak. But Freeze can't freeze him with the fire. He's trying to get the fire, freezing away from him. So Batman and Robin goes to get the Batwing. But beside the building that's landing on, so the building falls off. And Wilson, who is escaping on a boat, has the building. The tanker falls on him. It lands on him, killing him. Yeah. As Batman and Barbara go in the elevator, but it starts to get on fire. So Mr. Freeze helps out by freezing the elevator, freezing most of it, and getting the elevator all the strength to push a button and get them back up there. And tells them, "Get them out of here. You come back from me later, Batman. Just come back to me later." And Batman and Robin, they get Barbara and Kodak to safety. Batman tells Robin, "Don't come back for me." Robin's like, "No!" But Batman just Freeze grabs the grapple gun, Mr. Freeze grabs it before he's like, Freeze, come on, he's like, uses the rubber and tries to save Freeze. He's pushing him, Batman even hurts his shoulder, but the rubber gun breaks and Mr. Freeze soon falls to his death. But Batman now, Batman's like, Freeze! But nothing he can do. Decides to run back and, uses the grapple gun and gives him the Batwing as they fly there. But as you see, the polar bears are swimming away from the wreckage back to land. You see Freeze's hand, so you see Freeze's hand grab one of the polar bears, just grab one of them. 2 weeks later, you see these, men in the North Pole, wherever, at a weather station, are watching the news. They're sort of listening, talking about his beloved wife Nora, that Nora has been cured thanks to Bruce Wayne, thanks to Mr. Freeze, and you see Victor outside, because again, he knows how cold it really has to be, and just that crying moment, where he's just crying, that really touched me, that was just heartbreaking to see, finally seeing that his goal was accomplished, that he saved his wife, because as evil as he was, as many things as he's done, he was never a terrible man. He did terrible things, but, Mr. Freeze has always been a tragic character, that he just wanted to save his wife. That he really didn't deserve what happened to him. Mr. Freeze is really a tragic character when you think about it. Yes, he really is. I think the most tragic of Batman villains. And him crying and then walking away at the end. Just him tearing up, finding that his wife is okay. Thanks to him, just walks away at the end. The world believes him to be dead. He, seems shed tears for the years. This is the first time Two Kisses been frozen, but you see him all over his polar bears, like on a cane. Yeah, just a really good ending. And then that's, Mr. Freeze walking away after hearing about Nora and crying. He just walks away. And that's the end of the film. That is Batman and Mr. Freeze Subzero. So let me give my final opinion on this movie. Get some water first. Alright. But like I said, Batman Mr. Freeze Subzero, great movie. I love this film. Not only did I grow up watching it, but it's nostalgia for it as well. I said I had it on VHS as well. I do remember, when I watched films like Space Jam, I would see the trailers of this. Batman and Mr. Freeze Subzero, and then Mr. Freeze gun sound going off. I thought that was really cool. And they even, the trailers, they have, Danny Elfman's score in here. But what do I like about the movie? I like the story. The story is really good. I like seeing, Mr. Freeze, what he's trying to do. I like seeing Barbara Gordon in here. That was cool. I like seeing Robin in this movie. Even though it wasn't completely about Batman, Batman does quite a bit in here. He does investigate, so you do see detective work in this movie. But it is mainly a Mr. Freeze story. It feels that way. And even though it's wrong what he's doing, you can understand and somewhat sympathize with him. That he loves his wife, and he just, it was just a tragic accident what happened to him. He didn't choose to become this way. It just happened to him by accident. He never chose to be bad. It just became that way. But yeah, Mr. Freeze is a tragic character. Like I said, the ending that makes me tear up. It's just a really good story, and it's cool to see Mr. Freeze taken seriously and not doing ice pun jokes. Even though I like problems with Mr. Freeze, all of them did have some serious moments in those movies. Like when his Mr. Freeze would cry, you see a tear, and the tear would turn to ice and blew away off of his face. So there were some serious moments in Batman and Robin that also made me cry there, Yes, I said it. Laugh at me or you won't make fun of me, I don't care. But this film did a better job of it. Mr. Freeze does not play for laughs. He's not playing to, do ice pun jokes. We let the dinosaurs. We'll kill the dinosaurs. The Ice Age. But in here he's taken pretty seriously, and they do very well with that. But Mr. Freeze is great in here, and the The CGI animation looks fantastic. Even the beginning, with the water, with the submarine, looks fantastic, amazing in my opinion. The Batwing flying. CGI animation looks fantastic, and for 1998, it still holds up really well. The animation looked great. The voice cast, I think, does a good job. The late Kevin Conroy, always great as Batman. Lauren Lester, Michael Anderson does a good job. Mary Berger does a good job as Barbara Gordon Batgirl. I personally say I like her more than the girl, Melissa. She's good, but I think I do like Mary Kay Bergman. I do think she should have maybe voiced Batgirl a little more. It's a shame that she passed away though. She is sadly gone too. Due to, I think she committed suicide back some time ago. But the voice cast really good, and the film is only 67 minutes. So 67 minutes long. It goes about like that. You don't really have really special features on here, except you get a picture of how to draw Batman, music montage, cast and crew information. You get trailers. You get the Hunt for Mr. Freeze, like a little video game here where you can play a little game on your DVD or Blu-ray set of chasing Mr. Freeze, as Dick Grayson or whatever. But the whole thing with Mr. Freeze's wife, I can understand what he was doing, and this is definitely Mr. Freeze how he should be doing. If they, I can really see them doing for the next Batman movie, Royal Person, for the sequel. I really hope they do Mr. Freeze right. Please don't make him do ice puns. I want a serious Mr. Freeze like this. Have the story about his wife, how about he became Mr. Freeze. Just make it interesting. Have Batman have to take him on and fight. But, the CGI animation, the animation is fantastic. The story is really good. The music score, is really heartfelt. It's really heartfelt, the music score, in my opinion. And, hearing the Batman thing about Danielle playing at the beginning is just epic. And the score, is just really good, too. Yeah. And the action, there's a bit more action here than Mask of the Phantasm. But again, for a standalone sequel, this is how you do a standalone sequel different. Even though the first movie was Batman, Mr. Freeze is more front and center here, which is fine. I'm fine with that. And plus, that's a good thing because, sometimes being a standalone sequel or being a sequel to anything, you have to do something different. And this film did something different. I think they made a good move not to release it during Batman and Robin's time. Even though like Batman and Robin, audiences didn't warm up to it, so they probably needed audiences to warm up to this movie a lot more, so maybe that's why. Because they were afraid it would affect this movie, though I don't think it would have. Maybe they could have waited some months later, but still, I'm not that mad about it. It is what it is, This movie, because Batman Mask of the Phantasm was 93, because that was the time when Tim Burton stopped doing Batman, after him and Keaton left Warner Brothers, and decided to make Batman films anymore. That's when you got the Joe Schumacher. I do love Batman films, but it's still underrated. That's when you have the Schumacher films at this time when this movie was really getting to come out. So, but due to the failure of Batman and Robin, that's why this got delayed. But still, great movie though. I would say Mask of the Phantasm is still better, but they're both great movies. I still put them on par with each other. Just Mask of the Phantasm I put up a little more, but this is definitely close up there with it, in my opinion, as one of the best Batman animated movies. Or one of the best Batman films, in my opinion. Yeah, in my opinion. I love it. I don't have any problems with it. Has a really good story. It's not CQ Mission Gordon, a little more action in it. Cool to see Robin in here. And I like, seeing them investigate. That was cool. You see the Batmobile, but just for maybe like 5 or 10 minutes, and that's cool though. And I like the Polar Bears as well. And see what was going on with Mr. Freeze. Just a really good story. Really great film. I don't know what else to say about it, except I give Batman and Mr. Freeze Subzero, I give it a thumbs up, and my rating for this film is 5 out of 5 stars. Guys, if you've seen Batman and Mr. Freeze Subzero, what do you think of it? If you haven't seen it, if you have HBO Max, I recommend it. So definitely check, tell me in the comments down below if you've seen this movie. What do you think of Batman and Mr. Freeze Subzero? Alright guys, stay tuned. Hopefully tomorrow I can do more Batman anime reviews this weekend. I should be able to, hopefully. Alright, well the next Batman animated review and this is also based on a Batman animated show. It's based on Batman Beyond, Of course, I did talk about those 3 seasons, but now I'm reviewing the movie that is, of course, next will be, the next Batman animated film will be Batman Beyond, Return of the Joker, so this will be next. Yep. The next Batman animated review, so stay tuned for that, maybe tomorrow, so stay tuned for this review. Alright guys, tell me in the comments down below, what do you think of Batman Mr. Freeze Subzero in your opinion? Let me know what you think about it, guys. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe. 5 out of 5 stars, my rating for this film, and a thumbs up. So guys, have a good night wherever you're at. Have a good one. Stay safe. Hope you had a good Thanksgiving. I know I did. But anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for the next Batman animated review, and that will be Batman Beyond, Return of the Joker. Alright, thanks for watching, guys. Bye-bye. Bye.